The internet doesn't believe the official narrative about who killed Charlie Kirk and points its finger to Israel. And it's actually not unthinkable and certainly not anti-Semitic. And here's why. In the last 50 years, there is no other nation that has committed more targeted assassinations around the world, including inside Western countries, more than Israel. This week alone, Israel took out nearly half of Yemen's government. But here's why Charlie Kirk mattered. For most of the last 2 years, he loudly defended Israel's genocide in Gaza, dismissed famine reports, and spread Islamophobia to his massive base, serving Israel. His group, Turning Point USA, wasn't just another conservative nonprofit. It was one of Israel's most powerful assets in America. Turning Points USA shaped millions of young conservatives into loyal Christian Zionists. Without that movement, Israel's US lifeline would completely collapse. And that's why, according to the Gray Zone in a new investigation, Netanyahu's government and pro-Israel billionaires tried to buy Kirk off with a massive new infusion of Zionist money. And of course, Kirk rejected it. He called Netanyahu a bully. He warned Trump not to bomb Iran on Israel's behalf. And according to a Trump administration source, even Donald Trump admitted he was afraid of Netanyahu's power. Now, if Trump was afraid, what chance did Charlie have? The pushback was immediate. Zionist donors bombarded Charlie Kirk with angry calls and texts, trying to dictate what he could say. And at Turning Point USA's 2025 Student Action Summit, Charlie gave a platform to speakers who have become well known for being critical of Israel and its billionaire backers. Speakers included Jewish comedian Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson. Now, the summit hosted conversations probing whether Jeffrey Epstein was operating as an Israeli asset. And for Israel's defenders, that crossed another red line because Epstein's network was long being treated as untouchable. But Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Israel and its Mossad, of course, is no secret for those who read MintPress, as we were among the first to cover this extensively through our reporting with Whitney Webb. Now, meanwhile, Candace Owens revealed on X that in his final months before his assassination, Charlie was undergoing a spiritual awakening. And he wasn't alone. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, even Nick Fuentes, and other Christian right figures with massive followings and influence who are once pro-Israel are also turning against the apartheid state because of its genocide in Gaza and are questioning the US-Israel relationship. And this is part of a larger trend. Only 24% of young Republicans right now side with Israel over Palestine. Consider this. Even the American Jewish Committee, one of the oldest and most powerful pro-Israel lobbying organizations in Washington, with deep influence over US foreign policy, publicly blasted Charlie Kirk on X in July after Kirk began to question Israel. For an establishment group that has long relied on Christian Zionist allies like him, that was a major signal. Charlie was no longer considered reliable. Add to this the climate of intimidation. Now, the Gray Zone also cites a Trump-era insider who described Israeli operatives planting electronic devices on U.S. emergency vehicles. And these are surveillance devices, feeding the sense that even the White House itself was being bullied and watched over by Netanyahu's spy machines. So when Kirk was gunned down by a sniper in Utah, the question wasn't just who pulled the trigger, it was who had the motive. It was clear that a highly skilled, highly trained person took Charlie out. But the media and even Israeli politicians and some on the right who support Israel were quick to point their fingers to the left. Now, Israel has killed for far less, and Kirk's betrayal after years of loyal service to Israel threatened one of its most important pipelines to America's future and its dedication to propping up the apartheid state. If Israel was behind this assassination, it exposes something far bigger, an out-of-control proxy state that we've unleashed, one that bullies our leaders, surveils our government, and silences even its allies the moment they step out of line. This is a classic divide and conquer. Israel thrives by sowing chaos, turning allies against one another and keeping us distracted while it commits genocide with US backing. We can't let that tactic succeed. We need to stay focused, because if Israel can eliminate the man who built one of its strongest youth movements the moment he broke with them, then what does that say about the monster the United States has let loose? The motive is undeniable. The only question left is whether we'll ever be allowed to know the truth.
The way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. There's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, why are you... What am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen.